Over the last few days, I have seen a lot of discourse on YouTube around the Buffalo Sabres, who have gone on a bit of a heater of late. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, and they've gone 5-4-1 in their last 10, which has put them within 5 points of the final wildcard spot currently held by the Detroit Red Wings. And this has caused a lot of people to start asking, could they actually make a run here late in the season, overtake the teams in front of them, and make the playoffs for the first time in over a decade? And I have an easy answer to that.
What are you, out of your mind?
The Buffalo Sabres are not making the NHL playoffs. It is a virtual certainty, and that's not me saying it. It's just the math. As of this recording on March 18th, Money Puck gives the Buffalo Sabres a 6.5% chance of making the NHL playoffs this year. That is only slightly better than the odds given to the Calgary Flames out in the West, who are 8 points out of the last playoff spot. So why are people hyping the Sabres up when it seems almost impossible for them to make the playoffs? Well, right now, they are the sexy young kid on the block. They're actually the youngest team in the NHL with an average age of 25 years. And a lot of the teams that they could overtake in front of them, like the Penguins, Capitals, and Islanders, are significantly older than them in terms of average age. The Sabres also have some incredibly young, fun players like defenseman Rasmus Dahlin, Jeff Skinner, Alex Tuch, Dylan Cousins, the newly acquired Bowen Byram, rookie Zach Benson, Teach Thompson, and many more. In goal, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen has been a revelation, taking over for the presumed starter at the start of the year, Devin Levi, and he has been helping to backstop them of late. And a lot of people saw them beat up on the Golden Knights at the beginning of March, as well as take down the Oilers in impressive fashion, and thought, why not Buffalo? But unfortunately, that doesn't matter, because the Sabres have 2 things working against them that are going to prevent them from making the playoffs. The first is that they just don't have enough time to overcome the hole that they have dug themselves into. The Sabres currently have 69 points in 68 games, meaning that there are 5 teams ahead of them in the wild card chase for 2 spots. 4 of those teams in front of the Buffalo Sabres, the Penguins, Islanders, Capitals, and Lightning, all have games in hand on Buffalo. The only one who doesn't have games in hand is the Detroit Red Wings, who have 74 points in 68 games, so they're equal in terms of games in hand. There's an old adage that you can't win the Stanley Cup in October, but you can definitely lose it, and that most certainly applies to the Buffalo Sabres. They went 4-7 in the month of October, and really have never been able to climb out of that hole. Now with just 16 games left in their season, they have a pretty hefty hill to climb. They're about to go on a West Coast road swing that will take them to Vancouver and Edmonton, a very tough challenge for them. They'll also have to face Seattle and Calgary, who are in those last 14 games. I only have the Sabres favored in 6 of them, meaning that I project that they'll go 6-8 down the stretch, which obviously will not be good enough to overtake the teams in front of them. But worse yet, when you look at the teams around them and in front of them, they all have pretty easy schedules. New Jersey's going to get Ottawa twice, as well as getting to play Buffalo. That'll be a crucial game. Pittsburgh is going to get to play Columbus twice, as well as Detroit, the Devils twice, and the Caps. The Red Wings are going to get Montreal twice. The Islanders are going to get Chicago, Columbus, Montreal, and the Devils twice. Philly's going to get Montreal twice, as well as Columbus, Chicago, 1 game against the Caps, and 1 game against Buffalo that will be critical for those 2 teams. And then finally, Tampa Bay gets maybe the easiest path with San Jose, Anaheim, Montreal, Columbus, and then the Caps and the Sabres to round out the end of their season. I mean, other than the Caps, who basically have no gimmies down the stretch, Buffalo might have the hardest remaining schedule of any team that's vying for that wildcard spot. And then the second major reason I think that the Sabres are not going to make the playoffs is, quite simply, they're just not good enough. On the season, Buffalo ranks 22nd in terms of expected goal differential, currently sitting at about -4 on the year. Now, that is better than Washington and Detroit, who are both much further down, but it's still below teams that they have to leapfrog like Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, and even the Devils, who are technically behind them in the standing at around -8.5. And if your thought is that maybe Buffalo got off to a slow start, but they've been getting better over the year, well, the evidence just simply doesn't back that up either. Their expected goal differential has bounced up and down, but it's ended up basically the same as where it was at the start of February, and in fact just a week ago it hit its lowest point of the entire season. The Sabres are just, quite frankly, not a good team, and they haven't been getting better. They've been about where they should be in the standings since around the early part of December. Now, the good news is that they're probably going to be better next year as one of the youngest teams in the NHL, with Zach Benson getting another year, guys like Peterka and Owen Power getting some more reps. I would hope that they're going to be in the playoff hunt next year. But for this year, let's just take a deep breath on expectations for the Buffalo Sabres.